What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the stream. Appreciate all you guys being here, man. Big Wednesday slate. This is going to be a fun one to break down. There's a lot of good plays tonight. I was kind of constructing a lineup before I started recording, before I went live, just to see, what I could build. And man, there's so many good plays. It's hard to make a lineup tonight that, you're going to make lineups you feel good about, but there's going to be guys that you definitely don't want to leave out. It's tough if you're only playing one lineup. You're going to have to make some tough decisions tonight because there's good value, there's good pay-up options, a lot of ways you can go, man. But as always, guys, appreciate you being here, man. For the next, 45 minutes to an hour, we'll be live answering all your questions, breaking everything down. As always, appreciate all your support, guys. But I'm just going to go through, start answering some questions from John. Harden, Zubac, and Korkmaz or Fox, Holmes and Harden, Zubac, and Korkmaz or Fox, Holmes, and Korkmaz. So Harden, Zubac, or Fox and Holmes. I'd probably take Fox and Holmes. I mean, obviously Harden's a great play now that Kyrie's out, but I think I'd still probably go Korkmaz and Fox there, or Fox and Holmes there. That's a close one though, John. Zubac I do like if Ibaka's out. I just don't know. I don't know when we're going to get that news. The Clippers game. I'm pretty sure the last game on the night, so we might not have news on Ibaka before lock, which makes things tough. I know you don't like planning for blowouts, but is Draymond still a solid play with Depot out? I'm worried it won't be competitive. I mean, yeah, I guess that's a little worrisome, but I think Christian Wood's probably going to play, and if he does, that makes me feel a little bit better that the Rockets can keep it close if Christian Wood's out there. So I still like Draymond. I wouldn't fade any of those Warriors guys. I mean, right now the spread, let's see what the spread is. Hold up. Forgot to pull this up. Right now the spread is... Oh, it's a 12-point spread. I thought it was a lot lower than that. 12-point spread, I mean, yeah, that's a little worrisome, but I'd still play those, I'd still play those Golden State guys. I wouldn't worry about it. Like Draymond, I still like tonight, regardless. Thanks, Noah. Scored 324.5 on Yahoo last night. You helped me get there. I appreciate your great service. Hey, I'm glad to hear that, Robert. Glad to hear that, man. What do you think of my lineup for tonight? Satoransky, Halliburton, Barton, Tice, Pirtle, Dejounte Murray, Holmes, and Giannis. I mean, right now that Kyrie's out, I prefer Harden over Giannis, but that looks solid. That looks solid for now. I'm skeptical to play Giannis or Simmons tonight because they will probably be guarding each other. I mean, I wouldn't fade those guys because of that. Giannis, he's in play basically every slate. I don't worry about matchup when it comes to a guy like Giannis. Obviously, Ben Simmons has been, a great defender this year. He's been great defensively, but he's not going to slow down Giannis. I mean, I'd still play Giannis, and I love Ben Simmons too. Ben Simmons didn't do me well last night. I played him last night. I didn't go well, but I'm probably going to play him again. So I still like both those guys. I just prefer Harden over Giannis now that Kyrie's out. Hi, Noah. Thanks for the stream. Sure thing, Chris. Sure thing, man. What's good, Noah? Glad to be back for another one. Yeah, this is a fun slate. Big Ten gamer. There's a lot of ways you can go tonight. Hey, Noah, where are you from? I'm from South Carolina. Let's get this bread. Hey, let's get it, man. Let's get it. Favorite NBA team? It's probably the Lakers. I mean, I've always been a huge LeBron fan, so whatever team LeBron plays for, that's the team I pull for. So give me the Lakers. Let's go. Scored 344 last night. Damn, that's a pretty good score, man. My DK lineup had like 271, and I didn't even come close to the cash. I'm assuming that's DK, but yeah, that was a good score. Ready for you to smack me with this info. Ready to make this quad. Hey, let's get it, JM. Let's get it, man. Over under on Ben Simmons rebounds 6.5. I mean, I don't bet on player props, but I'd probably take the over there. I mean, I like a lot of the over. Like, whenever Joel Embiid's out, I just think Ben Simmons, every statistical category, points, rebounds, assists, like they all increase when Embiid's off the floor. So I'd probably bet the over there. Russ, Beal, or Steph? Give me Russ between those three. Giannis or Jokic? I'd probably take Giannis still. Harden's my favorite pay-up option, though, now that Kyrie's out, but I'd take Giannis over Jokic. Robert Williams tonight? Yeah, Robert Williams is a fine option. This is a different slate where we have a lot of good options. There's a lot of strong plays. I liked Robert Williams last night. He's still viable tonight, but I think there's just so many better plays. Robert Williams, it's not like he's cheap. I mean, he's $5,600 on DK. If Robert Williams was like $4K today, I think he'd be one of the better value plays. But at $5,600, you need him to be really productive when he's out there. I'd rather play Daniel Tice for cheaper. I mean, we saw Daniel Tice get the minutes last night. Started at center, played around 30 minutes. I assume he probably plays around 30 minutes again with Tristan Thompson already ruled out. Who benefits the most besides Harden with Kyrie getting ruled out? I mean, I don't really know if I want to go to any of those secondary Brooklyn guys. Like Bruce Brown, he was like the first guy that came to mind, but he's like barely been playing recently. Like I'm sure he's still starting. I'm pretty sure he's been starting, or I think they might have moved him to the bench, but like he's been losing minutes lately. I'd assume with Kyrie out, like his minutes are going to go way up, but it's not like he's that cheap. I mean, Bruce Brown's 4,800. Like I don't really want to play any of these Brooklyn guys. I guess Joe Harris would probably be my favorite for 4,700. But I think, if I'm playing anyone from Brooklyn, it's just going to be Harden. I think there's better value than trying to guess on, which one of these fringe Brooklyn guys gets there. I'd rather just play some of the other values that we have. Guys like Satoransky, Daniel Tice, Bielitsa if he starts. There's just other values I prefer. Best shooting guard below 4K. I mean, I don't know if there's much down here that I really like below 4K. If I had to take anyone, it'd probably be like maybe Ben McLemore if he plays. Houston should be very thin tonight. Right now they have, assuming Christian Wood plays, they're going to have 8 active players. Right now, though, Ben McLemore and David Nwaba are both questionable. So if they both play, then they'll have 10 players. I mean, if we get a scenario where Daniel House is out and then, or not David Nwaba, but Daniel House, excuse me. If Daniel House is out and Ben McLemore plays and Christian Wood plays, they'd have 9 active bodies. So Ben McLemore, I guess you could go there, but like, there's not a ton of value I'd like at shooting guard that low. Like maybe Corey Joseph. He should probably get a few more minutes without Bagley. He did play 22 last game. Yeah, I'd probably just be reconstructing. I don't know if I'd really want to pay down at shooting guard that low, just because there's not much down there that I really like. What's up, Noah? How are you? Let's go get that money tonight. Hey, let's get it, Patrick. Hey, Patrick, thank you for being a member, man. I see you got the VIP badge, so I appreciate you becoming a member. I appreciate that, man. Hey, let's get it tonight, bro. Let's get it. Have a hard time trusting Tice. His pattern is good/bad. His pattern is good/bad game thoughts, leaning towards Marcus Morris instead. I mean, you can't really look at that, Lee, because that was before, he's had games where playing alongside Tristan Thompson. Obviously, last night was without Tristan Thompson. Whenever Daniel Tice starts at center and he's not having to play alongside Thompson, he's just way more productive. So it makes sense that Tice had a good game last night, and I think it makes sense to go back to him tonight. Whenever Thompson's off the floor and he's their starting center, the minutes are more secure for Tice and his production's a lot better. So I wouldn't really look at that. I don't think there's nothing, a pattern. There's no pattern in DFS. You might think there is, but there really isn't. Chris Bevins, thank you for becoming a member, bro. I appreciate that, man. You'll have a VIP badge next to your name as well. I'll try and, if any members ask questions, I'll try and get to those first. But I try and answer everyone's questions. But obviously, I'm going to try and prioritize the members. I appreciate that, Chris. Thanks for the additional support, man. Hit for 371 yesterday and a $5 single entry, 120. Thanks for the info. Hey, that's a pretty good ROI, Anthony. 4x ROI. I'll take that any night. So good hit, man. Nice lineup. First time checking in. Thank you for the content and live streams. Sure thing, Hassan. Sure thing, man. You like Satoransky from the Bulls? Yeah, Satoransky, I think he's one of the better value plays once again. Like, he's still too cheap on Draftkings. He should be like, with him starting and playing close to 30 minutes right now, he should be like 5K. He's still way too cheap. So, yeah, I like Satoransky a lot. You like Tobias Harris on DK? Yeah, Tobias Harris, he's definitely in play for me. I mean, we saw him have another good game last night without Embiid. It makes sense that, those two guys, Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris, produce really well without Embiid off the floor. They're just going to dominate the usage. So those are two guys I like quite a bit, once again. I would say Harris is probably more of a secondary play. I think there's like some cheaper power forwards I like. We got good value with Tice at power forward. But yeah, if I can play Harris, if I can fit him in, he's totally fine playing him. Jaylen Brown, Hayward, or Dejounte Murray. I think now that Kimba is out, I prefer Jaylen Brown there. Best center value besides behind Holmes, it would probably be Zubac if Ibaka is out. I'd probably say Zubac for center value if Ibaka sits. I was raised in South Carolina. McCall, I live in North Carolina. Thanks for all your help, Noah. Sure thing, man. Sure thing. No one's mentioning Middleton today. I mean, like I don't really play Chris Middleton when Giannis and Drew are both healthy. Like the only time I've played Chris Middleton this year is whenever Drew was out. I played him some then. If Giannis ever sits games, I always play Middleton then. But I just don't play Middleton whenever they're both healthy. It's just so hard to predict when Middleton's gonna have that good game. He's never really someone I ever go out of my way to play. Jeff Green or Marcus Morris. That's a close one. I'd probably still take Marcus Morris, but yeah, that's a close one. I mean, I think Jeff Green does get a little bump with Kyrie out. He did play really well last game, but I think I'd still take Marcus Morris. Last was low owned, bail me out for won me some cash. Yeah, I don't think he was that popular last night. He's going to be a lot more popular tonight. But yeah, Daniel Tice was good last night. How do I become a member? If you just click the $sign at the bottom of the chat, you'll see that you can join and become a member. If that's something that does interest you. It's just a way to show additional support, and you'll get a little VIP badge next to your name. And I'll try and answer members' questions first, over everyone. But I try and answer everybody's questions if I can. What do you think of Rui versus Sacramento? When Westbrook and Beal are both healthy, I just rarely play Rui. Like, Rui had that huge game whenever Beal sat, but I just don't have much interest in Rui today. How many Brooklyn guys is too many? I mean, I wouldn't be going too heavy on Brooklyn. I think Harden's obviously one of the best plays on the slate now, but I don't want to play a lot of these fringe Brooklyn guys. I think you can play Joe Harris. You can maybe play Bruce Brown or Jeff Green, but I'm not playing 4 Brooklyn guys in one lineup. I feel like that's just overdoing it. There's better values tonight, in my opinion. So, Noah, happy St. Patty's Day. Let's smash this slate back to Simmons and Sterling Brown. Yeah, I'm going back to Ben Simmons. Don't know yet about Sterling Brown, but I do like him quite a bit too, depending on how many guys Houston has. But yeah, Ben Simmons, I'm going right back to him. I think he's a great play once again. He burned me last night. He wasn't great, I should say. I wouldn't say burned me, but he wasn't great last night. But I'm going right back to him. Fox or Simmons? I think I prefer Ben Simmons, honestly. Tatum and Tice or Levine and Satoransky. Give me the first one. Give me Tatum and Tice, but that is pretty close. Recussions, $5 super chat. Hey, Recussions, I appreciate that, man. Olynyk produced even with Bam. Do you think playing him at center is risky considering Bam might play more minutes? I mean, I'll be honest, Recussions, I had no interest in Olynyk last night once Bam was announced, playing. What did Olynyk even do last night? Wow, he had 43 DK points. That's surprising. I mean, I just, now that his price is way up and Bam is back, I just have no interest in Kelly Olynyk. He could go out there and put up 40 fantasy points again, but I don't play Kelly Olynyk when Bam is healthy, especially not at this price tag. We've seen before, we've seen bad games from Kelly Olynyk. I think it seems like he's got the trust of Eric Spoelstra right now, and he's going to be getting the minutes on a nightly basis, but yeah, I'm not playing Kelly Olynyk. I mean, I'd rather... Let's see. There's other power forwards. Give me some of these Houston guys for $1,000 less. Even give me Draymond over Kelly Olynyk. Give me Rashawn Holmes over Kelly Olynyk all day. Give me Thad Young for cheaper. Jayshawn Tate I like quite a bit, depending on how many guys Houston has. Same with KJ Martin. There's other power forwards I prefer. But I appreciate the $5 super chat, man. Thank you for the additional support. I have $18 for small forward position on Yahoo. Who do you recommend? I would say, JM, if you can find $5, I would definitely rather play Kevin Porter. If you can find a way to get to Kevin Porter, I think he is clearly the best small forward option on Yahoo, but I'd probably take KJ Martin there, $16. Assuming, Houston only has 8 or 9 active players, I'd probably play KJ Martin because he's going to get the minutes if Houston's, thin once again, which seems like is going to be the case. DeAndre Jordan or Zubac? If Ibaka's out, give me Zubac. Seems like a good core 4 to start with are Harden, Porter, Satoransky, and Tice. Yeah, I think that's a great start. I mean, Harden's one of the best pay-up options. I think Satoransky and Tice are one of the better value plays, and obviously Kevin Porter is a great play in the mid-range. So, yeah, that's a really good start, Michael. Just shot you a like. No, I appreciate the help. Sure thing, man. Sure thing. I appreciate you hitting the like button. Harden over Giannis. Yeah, now that Kyrie's out, I prefer Harden, and I think Harden's one of the top plays on the slate now that Kyrie's out. Green, Harris, and Harden, too many Brooklyn guys. I mean, I guess that's fine, but I'm not going to be playing a ton of Brooklyn guys. I really think Harden's the only guy I'm playing from the Nets. You could take a shot on Joe Harris or Jeff Green if you're playing multiple lineups, but if I'm only playing one lineup, I don't think I'd get to any of those guys. Yeah, Kyrie is out, Victor. I don't know if you caught that earlier. It came out a couple hours ago, but yeah, Kyrie's out. Simmons or Kawhi? Give me Ben Simmons, honestly. Mason Jones for dirt cheap value or no? It depends on how many active players that the Rockets have. If they have 8 active players again like they did last night, then yeah, Mason Jones is in play. But if Ben McLemore plays, if Daniel House plays, then I wouldn't go to Mason Jones. Simmons, Lowry, or Brogdon, excuse me. Give me Simmons there for sure. Top 3 value plays. I mean, I think right now Daniel Tice is one of the better values. I think Satoransky's a really good value again. If Nemanja Bjelica starts, I really like him for value. So those are kind of a couple guys I'm looking to. Zubac could be a good value if Ibaka's out again. You think Luka repeats performance against his Clippers? I mean, he could, but on this slate, I'd rather play Harden. I mean, I'm definitely playing Harden on both sides. So sure, Luka could have a good game, but I'm still playing Harden over him. And I don't know if I'm going to play. I don't think I'd be playing both those guys on this slate. Is Holmes a lock? I mean, I wouldn't say Holmes is a lock, but he is a really good play. I mean, we saw him get like 40 minutes last game after Bagley got hurt. No Bagley. Whiteside's questionable. If Whiteside sits, I mean, it's likely that Rashawn Holmes plays close to 40 minutes. So I think he's a really good play in a great matchup. And he's power forward eligible on DK, which makes him really appealing. Best under 6K shooting guard, or best shooting guard under 6K. Let's see. If Marcus Smart starts with Kemba out, you could take Marcus Smart there. Halliburton could start for Bagley. I'd like Halliburton if he starts. So it'd probably be one of those two guys. Or Derek White, but it'd probably be like Marcus Smart if he starts or Halliburton if he starts. I'd probably give the edge to Halliburton because it's a better matchup, better game environment. Is Robert Williams a safe play tonight for Boston? I mean, I wouldn't say he's a safe play. Like last night, I think he played 20 minutes, and him and Daniel Tice basically split the center minutes. Robert Williams played 22, and I think Tice played 26. So you're probably going to get the same scenario tonight. Maybe Tice gets a few more minutes. Like you're probably going to get 28, 30 minutes from Tice and 18, 20 minutes from Robert Williams. I mean, we've seen Robert Williams put up 40 fantasy points in 20 minutes, but it's not like he's cheap. He's 5,600. There's just other centers I prefer tonight. I had interest in Robert Williams yesterday, but I think today's kind of a different slate. He's more towards the bottom of my radar on this slate personally. I love Harden, Beal, Holmes, and Satoransky. I mean, yeah, I'm interested in all four of those guys for sure. Larry Nance or Tice on DK. Give me Daniel Tice. Thoughts on Dellavedova? He's questionable. I mean, I think even if Dellavedova plays, I don't think he's really going to be even in the rotation. I don't see any reason why you would want to play him. Thank you, bro. You're the man. Hey, sure thing, Wisconsin. Sure thing, man. Any interest in Bertans at 3,800 in a game with 240 total? I mean, Bertans has been losing minutes lately. They've been giving minutes to Denny Avia, like over Bertans. He's super cheap, but like I just don't know. There's just other values I prefer over Bertans. Like I just don't want to play him on the slate. Give me Bielitsa over Bertans if Bielitsa starts. Wood and Porter Jr. in play. Well, Christian Wood I'm not interested in because they've already said that he's going to be on a minutes limit. But yeah, Kevin Porter, I mean, without Oladipo, without John Wall, Kevin Porter is one of the best plays today. So, hey, brother, thanks for everything. Really appreciate it. Sure thing, Jason. Sure thing, man. Is Bielitsa in play? If he starts, yes. I have a lot of interest in Bielitsa if he starts. If he comes off the bench, then I'd be a bit hesitant to go there just because I'm not exactly sure what his minutes are going to look like off the bench. But if he starts, yeah, I think Bielitsa is a good value. How you feel about Marcus Smart? I think without Kemba, he probably is going to start. If he does, I don't know exactly what his minutes are going to look like because he's been coming back from injury. You know, his minutes have been kind of low. Like they really haven't given him big minutes yet. Last night he played 25. I wish he was a bit cheaper, but yeah, I guess Marcus Smart's in play if he starts. If he doesn't, then I'd be a bit hesitant to go there. I mean, we've seen Marcus Smart have good games whenever Kemba's sat. Like Marcus Smart does get a bump when he, starts at point guard. It's just I am worried about this, injury and the restriction on his minutes. I don't think he's going to go out there and play 36 minutes tonight. I'd be very surprised if he comes even close to that. LeVert in tournaments, yeah, I have interest in Karis LeVert. I wish he was a bit cheaper on DK. He's pretty cheap on Yahoo. I like him a lot on Yahoo. But the minutes have been trending up. He got 29 last game. Tonight, he probably is going to play like 31, 32. So, yeah, if we're going to get 31, 32 minutes from Karis LeVert in a good matchup against Brooklyn, he's in play for me. I don't think he's going to really pop in projection models at 6,800. If he was like 6K today, I think he'd be, a really popular play. But at 6,800, he's just an okay option. I don't think he's like a top play or anything. I do like him a lot on Yahoo, though. He's a lot cheaper there. And I think he's still like free on FanDuel. So, best value in your opinion? It's probably Daniel Tice. Either Daniel Tice or Satoransky, I think, are two of the better values. Simmons or Fox? I prefer Ben Simmons there. I think I already answered that, but give me Ben Simmons. Appreciate you, Noah. Sure thing, Siva. Recussions, $5 super chat. Again, I appreciate the super chat, man. Fox versus Westbrook, considering the price does not matter. I mean, if price doesn't matter, I would probably take Westbrook. But when you do factor in price, I prefer the savings on Fox. But yeah, if you're just talking about who scores more points, who projects better, I would say Westbrook probably would be the guy I'd take there. Thank you for the $5 super chat, though, Recussions. I appreciate that, man. Thanks again for the support. Wiseman or Sterling Brown for cash? Depending on how many guys Houston has, like if Houston only has 8 or 9 active players again, then give me Sterling Brown over Wiseman. Russell and Justin Holiday or Beal and DeLon Wright? Give me Beal and DeLon Wright for sure. Utility player for $16 or under on Yahoo? Probably KJ Martin's the first guy that comes to mind. If Houston is thin again, if they only have 8 or 9 players, I would take KJ Martin. I think he's going to get the minutes off the bench. He's going to continue to get the minutes off the bench with Houston being so thin right now. So I'd take KJ Martin there. You could go with Dwight Howard. I think Dwight Howard's he's 14 on Yahoo. You could play him too. I love Tobias Harris every time Embiid is out, but it's a back-to-back. Do you think it's going to be a blowout? I mean, I'm really not worried about that, Omar. Right now the spread in that game is at 5.5, which isn't really crazy. So I'm playing Sixers tonight. It's a high total, 234.5 total. If the game stays close, it's going to be because of Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons. So, yeah, I still have interest in both those guys. I prefer Ben Simmons just because, he can stuff the stat sheet, gives you that triple-double upside. I wouldn't fade those guys worried about a blowout. And if the game does blow out, then, so be it. It is what it is. Sato Nance and Kevin Porter or Tice Nunn and Holmes? That's a close one. Because, yeah, if Jimmy Butler gets ruled out, I am going to like Nunn quite a bit because Jimmy Butler is questionable now. I'd probably take the second one. If Butler is out, I would take the second one there, Gabriel. Harden and Nance or Jokic and KJ Martin? Give me Harden and Nance. I mean, I don't really like Larry Nance on this slate. I don't know if there's guys priced around him that you could play. But I love Harden, so probably just, I don't know if there's other forwards, though, you could play over Nance. I don't really like him that much this slate, but love Harden. We love you, Noah. Hey, I appreciate that, Dan. I appreciate that, man. I love you, too. Forward for 7K on DK. Let's see. Probably Rashawn Holmes, the first guy that comes to mind. He's 6,700. Assuming you don't already have him, I would say Rashawn Holmes at 6,700 or Draymond Green if you already have Holmes. Thank you, bro. Noah, you're the GOAT. I watch you every day. I appreciate that, DeAndre. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the support. Thanks for watching the videos. Sup, Noah, so many decisions to make today. Yeah, T-Bone. I said that at the beginning of the stream. This is a tough slate for sure. There's so many good plays tonight. It's going to be tough to make lineups that you're going to be able to make lineups you feel good about, but there's going to be guys you left out that, you're going to be scared to not have. It's just one of those slates where you build out your lineup, you really like it, but then, there's a couple guys that you don't have that you're going to have to pray don't kill you or don't go off and kill you. No 76ers want to play the Bucks, though, are tough tonight. Playoff preview, maybe. I don't know what you mean there, Wisconsin, but like we said earlier, I mean, I'm not fading those 76ers. I mean, that game, if it stays close, like I said earlier, I think Simmons and Tobias Harris are going to be, a big reason why. Is Lonnie Walker a desperate pick? I need a shooting guard on DK under 4,100. I mean, I really don't have that much interest in Lonnie Walker. And shooting guard, there really isn't much value that I like at shooting guard. Probably the cheapest shooting guard I'm interested in is Sterling Brown. So maybe you can try and get to Sterling Brown. But I guess Lonnie Walker's fine if you don't have any other options. You can maybe downgrade somewhere else, though, and then upgrade at the shooting guard spot. Drop Plumlee down to Rob will to pick up Hayward over Barton. Oh, drop Plumlee down to Robert Williams to pick up Hayward over Barton. I mean, yeah, that's fine. So basically, Plumlee, Barton, or Robert Williams and Hayward. I'd probably take Robert Williams and Hayward, so yeah. Who would be the next Rocket you go to after Porter? Well, it depends on who's active or not. If Daniel House and Ben McLemore are both out and Houston only has 8 active players, then I really like KJ Martin again. I liked him last night. I would like him again. I think Jayshawn Tate would be a really good option as well. Those are probably the next 2 guys I'm looking to on Houston. Obviously, Kevin Porter, though, he's the priority. He's the top play for sure. Harden over Giannis, maybe lower owned. Well, T-Money, I can already tell you Harden's going to be a lot higher owned. Now that Kyrie's out, I mean, Harden's going to be probably one of the most popular plays on the slate, but for good reason. Forward $18 or under on Yahoo. Yeah, Bryce, I think KJ Martin is 16, so if Houston only has 8 players, then I would take KJ Martin for 16 because I think the minutes will continue to be there for him if Houston remains shorthanded. Is Marcus Smart a good play with no Kemba? Yeah, we mentioned that earlier. The minutes are a concern right now because he's coming back from injury. I assume Marcus Smart probably starts, and he has been a lot better when Kemba's off the floor. Like when Marcus Smart starts at point guard, he is much more productive. It's just I don't know, is he going to play 34, 35 minutes? Probably not. Like he's probably only going to get 26, 28 minutes, which does, cap his upside a little bit. On a big slate like this, I think there's better plays, honestly. Noah, what's up, my guy? Hey, what's up, Galvin? What's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Utility on Yahoo, 12 or under. Already have Zubac and Satoransky. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Bielitsa's minimum salary, so if Bielitsa starts, you could play him. Daniel Tice, if you don't have Daniel Tice, I would definitely play Daniel Tice there. So, but yeah, one of those two. Jimmy Butler and Bam, or Nikola Jokic and PJ Washington. I mean, if Butler plays, I would take Butler and Bam. Butler's questionable now, so we do need to watch that. Is Harden a lock? I mean, I wouldn't say. I've said this before. Like, there's never a lock in NBA DFS. I think the closest thing we had to a lock was, a couple days ago, whenever Kevin Porter was like 3,200, and Wall and Oladipo were both out. I mean, Kevin Porter was, the closest thing to a lock that there is. I don't want to say Harden's a lock. Like, you don't have to play Harden tonight, but he is clearly one of the best plays on the slate. Could Harden get outscored by Giannis? Absolutely he could. Could Harden get outscored by Jokic or Luka? For sure. But I think Harden, out of these studs above 10K, Harden does feel like the one that's most likely to be the high scoring. And he's likely to be one of the high scoring players overall on tonight's slate. Like his numbers without Kyrie are just Kyrie and KD off the floor. I mean, Harden's he's a monster. Appreciate it, Noah. Let's get this bread. Sure thing, Bryce. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Is Mason Jones a good paydown option at shooting guard? It depends, Michael, on how many active players Houston has. If Houston only has 8 bodies again, then yes, I'm fine playing Mason Jones. But if Houston has like 10 players active, then I don't want to play Mason Jones. It depends on if Macklemore and Daniel House play. They're questionable right now. Want to play Harden and Jokic, but don't really like the choices it allows. What about Holmes over Jokic and pick better players around him? I mean, yeah, I think Holmes is one of my favorite center plays once again, so I'm totally fine dropping down to him at center. I mean, we saw Rashawn Holmes smash last game. We saw him get a ton of minutes. I think it's very likely that, he plays big minutes once again, especially if, Whiteside remains out and Bagley's already out. Recussions, $5 super chat again, man. I appreciate the super chat. Westbrook, Harden, and Brown, or Fox, Beal, and Kawhi. I'm assuming that is Jaylen Brown, so Westbrook, Harden, Jaylen Brown, or Fox, Beal, and Kawhi. I'd probably take Westbrook, Harden, and Jaylen Brown. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Recussions. I appreciate that, man. Remember, if Houston only has 8 players, Wood is on a minutes limit. Yeah, and they're not going to play Justin Patton and Christian Wood alongside each other. So basically, if Christian Wood plays and House and McLemore are both out, then Christian Wood and Justin Patton are probably just going to split the center minutes. You're going to get big minutes from KJ Martin off the bench, and you're going to get probably big minutes for Mason Jones off the bench. I guess Anthony Lamb would get some minutes too, but Houston's going to be shorthanded regardless. So let's see right now. Let me see how many players they have. So where's Houston at? So right now we know Kevin Porter, Jayshawn Tate, Martin, Patton, Brown, Lamb, Mason Jones. So we know those 7 guys are for sure playing. It seems like Christian Wood's going to play. So then it just comes down to, does Daniel House and McLemore play? If they're both out, that leaves Houston with 8 bodies. And Wood would be on a minutes limit. So you should expect, off the bench, big minutes from Mason Jones. Or not, I wouldn't say Mason Jones gets big minutes, but pretty good minutes from Mason Jones. Big minutes for KJ Martin. Anthony Lamb should get some run too. But yeah, there'd be a lot of viable plays from Houston if they only have 8 bodies. Favorite shooting guard tonight? When you don't factor in salary, it's probably... Shooting guard's a tough position on Draftkings. Like James Harden, he's not shooting guard eligible. Satoransky's not shooting guard eligible. I would say it's probably like Buddy Hield. I really like Buddy Hield at his price. I think Karis LeVert, even at 6,800, is a solid option. If you're paying down, though, I think Sterling Brown looks really good for 4,600, depending on how many players Houston has. So it's probably like those three guys. You could obviously pay up for like Beal or Zach LaVine, but I think I'm more likely to go to that mid-range or go cheaper with a guy like Sterling Brown. Daniel Tice or Zubac. I think I would take Daniel Tice there, but that's a close one. I'd like both those guys quite a bit. Zubac, it depends on if Ibaka plays or not. But yeah, Tice is a really good value. Zubac will be a really good value if Ibaka sits. Denny Avia or Hachimura versus Sacramento, or both a good play. I mean, I don't have much interest in either one. I'm personally not going to play those two. So if I'm playing anyone on Washington, it's going to be Beal and Westbrook. I don't see really anyone else I'd play on the Wizards. Team Money Fresh, I appreciate the $5 super chat, man. Thanks, Go. Good luck to all. Hey, good luck to you as well, man. I appreciate the $5 super chat, Team Money. Thank you, brother. Holmes or Bielitsa if he's starting. I mean, if you factoring in salary, or like, you can't really ask that question because those two guys are so differently priced. I mean, both are going to be really good plays. If Bielitsa starts, I like him a lot as a value. I like Holmes regardless. I'd rather have Holmes, but I think both are really good plays if Bielitsa does start. On Houston, Tate or Martin, I mean, I'd probably take Jayshawn Tate still, but it is close. I do like both quite a bit. I mean, we saw Jayshawn Tate have a huge game last night. You know, with Christian Wood most likely playing, that's probably going to hurt Jayshawn Tate a little bit, but yeah, you know, Wood's going to be on a minutes limit, so I don't think, you know, it's not like Wood's going to be out there for 36 minutes. He's probably going to play like low 20s minutes if I had to guess. Tate should still get a ton of minutes, so should KJ Martin. I have interest in both, but probably would take Tate if I had to just choose one. You like Josh Jackson with Detroit thin backcourt? Yeah, I think Josh Jackson is going to be super low owned tonight, and he's someone I do have some interest in. You know, Detroit, they are another team that's kind of shorthanded. So right now, Rodney McGruder and Wayne Ellington are both doubtful. We got an update this morning that McGruder had been downgraded to doubtful. So they have no Rodney McGruder. They have no Wayne Ellington. Svi Mykhailiuk's no longer on the team. Hamidou Diallo is not available to play yet. And Dennis Smith Jr., he's the one guy that's questionable that we'll have to keep an eye on. But they're pretty thin at the shooting guard position. So, yeah, I think we probably get like 30 minutes from Josh Jackson. I assume he'll still come off the bench. But, yeah, I do like Josh Jackson quite a bit. I think he is going to be super low owned. Halliburton is starting, I believe. I mean, I don't think they've announced that yet. He's probably going to start, but they could go with Bielitsa. We'll just have to wait and see. It's either probably going to be Halliburton or Bielitsa starting for Marvin Bagley. I would think they want to keep Halliburton with the second unit, keep him coming off the bench, but they could start him, I guess. Holmes or Tobias Harris. I mean, again, those two guys are totally different price points. Tobias Harris is $8,400, Rashawn Holmes is $6,700. For the savings, I'd rather play Rashawn Holmes, but both are really good options. Thank you again, bro, for answering questions. Sure thing, man, sure thing. Any lower price guys you feel could match Jokic, Harden? I mean, if you're talking about, what do you mean, lower price guys? Price in that 10K range? I mean, sure, Luka could, outscore Jokic or outscore Harden. In my opinion, with the guys above 10K, I think Harden and Giannis are my two favorite. But there's some guys I like in that 9K range. I really like Ben Simmons again. I think De'Aaron Fox is a solid play as well and a good matchup. But yeah, of the 10K guys, Harden and Giannis are my favorite. Jeff Green or Marcus Morris? Yeah, I think we had that question earlier. That's a close one for me. I think I would still probably take Marcus Morris. But yeah, that's a close one. I don't think either guy are going to be insanely productive on a point per minute basis, but you probably get 30 minutes from both Green and Morris. Morris was pretty solid last game. He does lose usage playing alongside Kawhi and PG. They said he's going to be in the starting lineup moving forward, though, which makes me feel better about his minutes. I think it's going to hurt his production. But Jeff Green, I mean, I've played Jeff Green so many times this year, and it just never works, it seems like. I'd probably take Marcus Morris, honestly, between the two. Barton or Nance on FanDuel? Give me Will Barton. Like Noah's videos, guys. Hit the like button, guys. Yeah, appreciate all the likes, as always, man. Appreciate the likes, guys. Would you prefer Bielitsa over Halliburton if he starts? Yeah, if Bielitsa starts, I like the value that he provides. $3,700, super cheap. Bielitsa's always been a pretty productive player when he does get minutes, so if Bielitsa starts, I think he's a really good value. Barton or Josh Jackson? If you're playing cash, I would probably play Barton, but tournaments, I like the upside on Josh Jackson. I think he is going to be super low owned, so In tournaments, I'd take Josh Jackson because I think he's just going to be lower owned, has more upside. But Barton's probably safer. We know the minutes are going to be there for Will Barton. Did you do anything on Kyle Lowry? I mean, I don't have much interest in Lowry. Right now, Siakam and Van Vliet are both questionable. It seems like at least one of them is going to play. And Lowry's been priced up so much that I don't have much interest in him now that Siakam's probably going to play and Van Vliet could play as well. If Siakam plays, will he have a minutes restriction? We don't know yet. I'm sure that's something we'll find out, when it's announced. If he's not limited, Siakam is pretty cheap. He'd be someone that's, viable. My lineup right now is Fox, Hield, Satoransky, Porter Jr., Theis, Sabonis, Holmes, and Tate. That looks pretty solid in my opinion. Looks pretty solid for now. Favorite guard on DK, 5,100 and under. Probably be like Sterling Brown or Satoransky. Sterling Brown's 4,600. Satoransky's super cheap, 3,800. I mean, Satoransky I think is a really good value. Favorite shooting guard, 5,100 and under. Let's see. It'd probably be Sterling Brown then. He's 4,600. I'd probably take him. Him or Josh Jackson. Probably take Josh Jackson there, but yeah. Either Josh Jackson or Sterling Brown. They're saying on FanDuel, Wood's only playing low 20s minutes. I mean, I'll be honest, Didi, I would not look at FanDuel's stuff for information. I don't follow them for information. I follow Twitter. Twitter's, I think, the best place to get your information, your news from. I haven't seen anything on a specific number for Christian Wood minutes, but I don't think Christian Wood's not playable tonight. He's not you can't play Christian Wood at his salary. It's just, I think the amount of minutes he plays is going to impact some of the other guys. If Christian Wood only plays 20 minutes, then I don't think that's going to change too much. I still like those other Houston guys, but if he's going to get 28 minutes, then those other guys start to become a bit, less interesting. Value with Dozier at shooting guard. I mean, I don't see any interest going to PJ Dozier on this slate. Thoughts on Jordan Poole? I'm not playing Jordan Poole on a 10-game slate. There's just so many other better value plays. So for sure, Harden over Giannis over Jokic. For me, I prefer Harden. He's my favorite stud. I would say Giannis is number 2. And then, Jokic, he'd be up there. But it's definitely Harden for sure, number 1 for me. Harden's my guy tonight. I think he's going to be a lot of people's guy, but it's hard not to like him now that Kyrie's out. Who's your favorite payout, Westbrook or Harden? Yeah, again, it's Harden for me. No Kyrie, no KD. Harden should go out there and just dominate the usage. He's very likely to score at least 60-plus Draftkings points if this game stays close. And we know Harden, in close games this year, Harden's playing near 40 minutes, so really all the boxes are checked. Maybe the matchup could be a little bit better, but I don't really worry about that when it comes to a usage monster like James Harden. Sorry if I missed it, but what are your best value plays tonight? I mean, I think we've talked about it already, but Daniel Theis, I really like now that Thompson's out again. Bielitsa, if he starts, I like for value. If Serge Ibaka's out again, I like Zubac for value. Satoransky's still too cheap, so those are a couple guys I'm looking to for value. Thoughts on Kawhi? I mean, Kawhi feels a little bit too cheap on DK, but this is a slate where I don't think Kawhi's going to be really someone, I go out of my way to play. I think he's kind of fine as a last guy in, but I think I'd rather play Jason Tatum now that Kemba's out. I'd rather have Jason Tatum over Kawhi. You like Wiseman at all? He's almost men's salary on FanDuel. I mean, FanDuel, it all depends on the position. I don't know if Wiseman's a power forward or a center over there. I mean, if he's men's salary, that's super cheap for Wiseman. His minutes have been, getting back to normal somewhat. He should get probably mid-20s minutes. I would say it depends on, if he's a center. Yeah, so that's a little bit tougher then. It's tough because center is always a position you kind of want to get right on FanDuel. I don't know if Rashawn Holmes is a center or not. I assume he's probably too cheap there. How did the guy do last night, first night back after an injury? I think his name was McConnell. I'm not sure who you're asking about, Robert. First night back after an injury? I have no idea. The Pacers, if you're talking about TJ McConnell, the Pacers didn't play last night. Zubac or Sterling Brown? If Ibaka's out, I'd take Zubac. Will Barton or Norman Powell? I mean, I don't have much interest in Norman Powell, especially if Fred VanVleet and Siakam both play. I don't have much interest in Norman Powell. So I guess I'd go Will Barton there. Is McGee a good value to play? I mean, I haven't really even looked at JaVale McGee on this slate. Like, I just think there's other values I prefer. Like, I really, the only time I played JaVale McGee this year was whenever he actually started that one night. I can't remember when it was, but he actually got a start one time this year. That's the one night I played JaVale McGee. I haven't played him at all this season. Like, he's going to play probably 15, 16 minutes. Like, I just don't see any reason why you would play JaVale McGee on a big 10-game slate and hope that he gives you 25 and 16 minutes. Tatum or Simmons, I prefer Ben Simmons, but I think both are, really strong options. Tatum, obviously, a lot more appealing now that Kemba's out. Holmes is a center. He's only 6,900. Yeah, see, I'd probably be playing Holmes at center then. Tatum or Simmons? Yeah, again, give me Ben Simmons. My favorite 6K pick on DK is probably Thaddeus Young. He's a stud. I mean, yeah, Thaddeus Young's been really productive this year when he's gotten the minutes. It's weird. They started him again last night, but he did not start the second half. So I don't know if they're going to change up their starting lineup. I would like Thaddeus Young more if he's still starting. But yeah, he's been really productive when he gets the minutes this year. It's just they never give him big minutes. Like even if he gets like, I wouldn't say even, but he's probably only going to get like 28, 30 minutes max. Like, they just don't play Thaddeus Young big minutes. I'm DD. I appreciate the $5 super chat, man. He says, thanks for all your help. You're the GOAT. I appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that, man. Any MPJ today? Probably not for me. I mean, I really don't have many interest in really any Nuggets outside of like Jokic and Will Barton. Not much interest in MPJ. Holiday, Garland, or Kobe White. If that's Drew Holiday, I would take Drew Holiday there, if that's Drew. Haslam going for 40 fantasy points today? Yeah, I highly doubt that. Haslam at this point is just collecting checks, I think. I don't even know if he's even played, like, I think he actually did start. I can't remember if it was this year or last year, but he actually did start a game. I can't remember when it was. And he played, 15 minutes. But he just, my man Udonis Haslam, he's just collecting checks at this point. LeVert or DiVincenzo? I'd rather have Karis LeVert there. KJ Martin or Jayshawn Tate? Yeah, we had that question earlier. I think that's a super close one. Jayshawn Tate is still the starter, and I think his minutes are a little bit more secure, so I'd probably still take him. But I do like both guys. Depending on how many active bodies Houston has, I think you could definitely play both those guys tonight. Any chance Houston doesn't play due to lack of guys? I mean, as long as one of Christian Wood, Ben McLemore, Daniel House play, as long as one of those three play, then they'll be good to go. So I assume one of those three is going to play. I think they've already said Christian Wood's most likely going to play, so they should be good to go. They've got enough guys. Did you get that Italian dinner for dinner last night? I did not have Italian. I had some mozzarella sticks. I guess that's Italian, but I didn't go get Italian last night, Mark. There's really no where I live, there's not a great Italian. We don't even have an Olive Garden where I live. I love Olive Garden, but we don't even have one where I live. Kind of sucks. If Siakam and Van Vliet are out again, do you have interest in Lowry and Powell? Probably not. On this slate, I think there's just other plays I prefer, and those guys have been priced up a good amount to where they don't really stand out on a 10-game slate like this. Just, I don't know. I'm not going to those Toronto guys, even if Van Vliet and Siakam are out. I'd rather have Ben Simmons over Kyle Lowry, I think. Thoughts on Kevin Porter Jr.? I mean, yeah, with Oladipo and John Wall both out, Kevin Porter Jr. is clearly one of the best plays on this slate. I don't think I need to tell you that. Did you cash on last night's slate? I did not cash on I didn't cash on either site. I was close on Yahoo, but DK I had 271. Yahoo I think I finished with 254. Last night was rough, man. I got burned by Ben Simmons. I got burned by KJ Martin. It's crazy. Those are two guys that burned me last night, and I'm probably going to play them again. It depends on how many guys Houston has if I play KJ Martin, but I think I'm definitely going to be back on Ben Simmons. How many Houston players is too much in a lineup? It depends on how many active bodies they have. If Ben McLemore and Daniel House both play and Houston has 9 or 10 active players, then I don't think I'm going to really be loading up on Houston outside of Kevin Porter. But if Houston only has 8 active bodies again, then KJ Martin, Jayshawn Tate, those are guys I have interest in. Sterling Brown as well. So it really depends. It depends on if McLemore and House play or not. If they're both out, then yeah, I think playing 2 or 3 Houston guys is totally fine. Seth Curry or Derek White? I'd probably rather have Seth Curry. That's a close one though, but I think I'd take Seth Curry. Just made it here. Where's the value? I mean, we've kind of mentioned already, Jay, like Daniel Tice, if he starts at center again, which he should. Daniel Tice I like for value with Thompson out again. If Bielitsa starts, I like him for value. Satoransky's still too cheap on DK. So those are kind of some values I'm looking to. You need a Traeger? I don't even know what that is. T-Money. What's a Traeger? Traeger. Oh, it's a grill. Yeah, see, I have no idea how to cook, man. That's the thing. I don't cook. Simmons, LeVert, Sato, KPJ, Bielitsa, Tate, Holmes, Harden. What do you think? I mean, yeah, if Bielitsa starts, I like him a lot. But if Bielitsa comes off the bench, I'd be a bit hesitant on him. But that does look solid for now. You think Wood gets full run? No. They've already said he's going to be on a minutes limit if he plays. So now I got to decide between Porter Jr. or Josh Jackson since adding in Harden with Kyrie out. I mean, I would take Kevin Porter over Josh Jackson 100%. Is Wiggins a decent play? I'm not really looking at Andrew Wiggins. Really, the only guys I have interest in on Golden State are Draymond, and I guess you could play Curry. But I think Draymond's really the only guy I'm looking to on Golden State. There's just not much I like on the Warriors. There's other guys I prefer from, other teams. Some of these players we talked about. No, I appreciate your insight and scenarios, man. There's a plethora of money locks on the slate. Got burned too, man. Shake my head. It's hard to have that. Yeah. I mean, last night I got burned by a couple guys, but this is a crazy slate for sure. There's a lot of good plays tonight. A lot of good plays. I feel like there's going to be some landmines. Like, one of these value guys is probably going to wind up busting. So it's just, you got to hope you just don't land on that landmine. Would you choose it? Who would you choose if Jimmy Buckets is out? Yeah, I guess we can talk about that real quick. So let's go to Miami. I haven't really mentioned any Miami guys yet. So if Jimmy Butler is out, I think Bam Adebayo he becomes much more appealing now. I probably would still prefer some other centers. Like, I'd rather save salary at center and play Rashawn Holmes. But yeah, Bam becomes a lot more appealing. I still probably wouldn't really go to Kelly Olynyk. So really, if Jimmy Butler's out, it's going to be Bam and it's going to be the guards. Dragic, Hero, and Nunn. Nunn is super cheap. He's $4,700, so I think Nunn would probably be my favorite of the 3 Miami guards. But all those guys will get a bump if Butler sits. I think Nunn, at his price, though, would probably be my favorite. And then Bam will become, more viable too. Bam I do like on Yahoo. You have to play at least one center there. He's only $35. I think that's a really nice price for Bam if Butler winds up sitting. Holmes has been priced up a good amount to 28, so maybe you could try and find the salary to get up to Bam over Holmes if Butler's out. When you live, Till, I'll be live for probably just about 5 more minutes. Normally go live from 4 to 5 Eastern, so we'll be live for about 5 more minutes. It's hard to lock. I mean, like I said earlier, Jay, like, nobody's a lock, man. I mean, I hate when people come in here and ask, like, is somebody a lock? Like, that's just the stupidest question you can ask. There's never locks in NBA DFS. The closest thing to a lock was a couple of days ago whenever Kevin Porter was 3,200 and he scored like 45 fantasy points. I mean, everybody saw that coming. He was like 85% owned. Like, that was the closest thing there is to a lock. Harden could get outscored by Giannis, Luka, Jokic. I wouldn't be surprised, but Harden is clearly one of the better plays on the slate. He does project very well now that Kyrie is out. Is he a lock to do well? No. He could twist his ankle. He could have a bad shooting night. It could be a blowout. There's plenty of ways he doesn't get there. Kevin Porter is my guess for bust of the night on DK, even if he looks like a lock. I mean, yeah, I guess you could go that way. I still really like Kevin Porter. Like, I think even if it's a blowout and, like, Golden State just runs them over, I mean, I think Kevin Porter's still going to be out there. So I feel really good about Kevin Porter. It's hard not to like him. I mean, he's going to take probably 25, 30 shots, and he's going to be out there even if the game gets ugly. Giannis or Harden straight up? Yeah, give me Harden. Give me Harden. Now that Kyrie's out, I mean, Harden's clearly, a top play. Miles Turner or Jakob Poeltl? Give me Jakob Poeltl there. Porter Jr., Sterling Brown, Larry Nance, Bielitsa, Giannis, Harden, Tice, and Satoransky. That looks pretty solid for now. Appreciate Noah for the response. Keep up the good work. Cheers from Serbia. Jokic homeland. Hey, I appreciate that, Evan. That's awesome if you're from Serbia. Appreciate you watching from way out there. There's some people watching from like the Philippines and stuff. I think you can play on Yahoo if you live in the Philippines, so I think that's why a lot of people watch me from there, because they can play on Yahoo. I'd be looking at my lineups like this, a lock, then get burned. Nobody's ever a lock. Yeah, that is very true, very true. The closest thing to a lock, like I said, when Kevin Porter was 3,200 and Oladipo and Wall were both out, that was the closest thing to a lock. And obviously, on that slate, you kind of needed Kevin Porter. Are you going to need Harden tonight? I mean, you could. He could go out there and put up 80, and I wouldn't be surprised. But he could put up 65 and just be, okay. LeVert on FanDuel is a lock for 4,400. I mean, yeah, that's close to a lock as well. Like if LeVert was 3K on Draftkings, he'd be a lock. He's super cheap on FanDuel though, so that's close to it. You like Tate even with Wood back? Yeah, I think Tate's still interesting, especially depending on how many active bodies Houston has, because I think Tate's just going to play a ton of minutes. He might not be as productive playing alongside Christian Wood, but they've already said Christian Wood's going to be on a minutes limit. We don't exactly know how many minutes that's going to be, but I still do have interest in Tate. Kevin Porter's the only ball handler. He will have the ball all night. Can't pass on that. I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, he's going to be their point guard. He's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. Like, if you look at his stat line from that game when they played the Jazz, this was when Oladipo and Wall were both out. Kevin Porter played 38 minutes, took 25 shots, had 47 Draftkings points. I'm not saying he's going to do that again tonight, but he's going to get all the opportunity in the world. I mean, he had eight assists. Like, he could easily go out there and put up 30 points, 10 assists tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised. Have a double-double. Kevin Porter or Karis LeVert? Give me Kevin Porter. 400 points. It seems like you need to get a takedown for GPPs. Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty high-scoring slate if I had to guess. Especially if a lot of these chalk values do really well, it's going to be a high-scoring slate. I suck at switching lineups last minute. Hopes nobody else gets ruled out. I mean, Michael, I'll be honest, with NBA DFS, man, you never want to get glued in on a lineup. Like, you could really like your team at 4:30, but you always need to be willing to change your lineup depending on news. And most of the time, it's going to be beneficial to do that. There's going to be times where you change your lineup because of news and it comes back to bite you, but most of the time you want to react to news. So if we get word at 6:45 that Giannis is out, you need to play Chris Middleton. You need to play Drew Holiday. And if they bust, then whatever. But you need to always be willing to make changes depending on what news comes out. Tice plus KJ Martin or Tate plus Bielitsa if he starts. I'll probably take Tice and KJ Martin there. Jeff Green or Millsap? Give me Jeff Green. Best utility under 6,800 or lower. Already have Holmes. Let's see. Well, Kevin Porter, 6,800. I assume you probably already have him. But if you don't have Kevin Porter, I would take Kevin Porter. If you already have Kevin Porter, then I would probably go like Draymond. Draymond would be the next guy. Poku really screwed me last night. Anyone tonight that looks like a lot you staying away from because of ownership? Yeah, Poku was another guy that screwed me last night. But anyone tonight that looks like a lot that you're staying away from? I mean, I don't think there's going to be like any chalky plays that I'm avoiding. I don't really know who's going to be chalk tonight. I mean, I have a good feeling on who's going to be popular, who's not going to be. I don't know if there's any guys that are going to be really popular that I'm like not playing. I mean, I like a lot of these chalk values like Daniel Tice, Satoransky, Bielitsa if he starts. Like, I like those guys. I'm not going to be avoiding them. I think those are some of the better values that we do have right now, at least. But all right, guys, it's close to 5 o'clock, so I'm going to wrap up the stream here, man. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. I appreciate all the super chats. We had a lot of super chats today. A lot of guys donating. DD, Recussions donated a ton. T-Money. We had some guys become members as well. Chris, I appreciate you becoming a member. As always, guys, I appreciate the support. Appreciate everything, man. We'll be back again tomorrow, most likely, for another stream. Hope to see you guys then. Good luck tonight, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Good luck, fellas. Good luck.